Well, we're going to cross over to Basel in Switzerland now, where Adrian Bradley is joining us ahead of tomorrow night's big Eurovision final happening right there in Basel. Can you hear me over there, Adrian?
I can. I am in a very lively press centre in what is a converted ice rink next
Oh.
to the arena. So it's weirdly incredibly warm and humid in here because ice rinks were made to be well ventilated.
So, what's the atmosphere like in Basel at the moment?
It's really starting to build up now for the final. Lots and lots of people arrive for the weekend. It's been a great atmosphere all week and getting very exciting. But now the running order is out. The final is coming. The first audience show for the final will be tonight, the dress rehearsal. So people are getting very excited. The weather is also beautiful here.
Oh,
So
yeah.
people are out and about. It's a beautiful city, like lovely old buildings. There's a river, there's a Rhine. You've got a Eurovision street, there's a Eurovision village. You've got Eurovision fans all over Basel just having a great time and looking forward to a great show.
The first ever Eurovision was, of course, in Switzerland, and there was a theme throughout the first semi final about sort of Eurovision coming home. Does it feel like Eurovision's came home?
Oh, absolutely. Switzerland are incredibly proud of their history of Eurovision, of being the first ever Eurovision. I was taken up to the highest point in Switzerland, Jungfraujoch,
Oh,
which is
wow.
about 3,500 meters high. And up there, there was a relay station that they had to build radio signals so that the first Eurovision could be broadcast across Europe. Because obviously they had to find a way of transmitting it over the Alps. So the history is all over the country, and it really is like coming home here. The city is so up for it. All the local people are enjoying it. There's a Eurovision village that's arranged by the city. They've had 80,000 people through the doors already, and we've not
Oh, wow.
even hit the weekend yet. So that's going to be great.
So, why is it that you like Eurovision so much?
I have loved it since I was a kid. Like a lot of people, we watched Eurovision when I was growing up. It was something you would do every year on a Saturday night, and I just loved it. It was like nothing else on TV. You were seeing all these different countries, the key changes, seeing all these cultures and languages that I didn't know before. I'm also a little bit of a politics nerd, so the geopolitics and the voting and the graphics of the seeing which countries like and don't like each other in the voting blocks, that appealed to me as well. So all of that was really exciting. And then I got to go to my first Eurovision as a fan in 2013.
Hmm.
That's really exciting. And after that, I was hooked and I just had to keep on coming. So I've been reporting on Eurovision now for nearly a decade.
And how have you seen Eurovision change in that time? I mean, has it changed or have some things stayed the same?
Oh, it changes every year. Certainly changes. You know, the ones that stick in my head from when I was young include when, Sonia represented the UK in the 90s or when Katrina and the Waves won for the UK in 1997. And that was in a small concert hall with maybe about 500 or 600 people in the audience and
Yeah.
everybody in still wearing black tie.
Yeah.
Now, this is seen as a small arena because there's just about 6 or 7 thousand people in there. It can have up to 14,000. You've got people in incredible costumes. I saw an Australian fan dressed as a cow last night for the Milkshake Man.
Oh, wow.
People love it. And the quality, the staging, it's like a world-class music concert that you're seeing on stage with these incredible staging for a 3 minute song. It's
Yeah.
really quite amazing.
And you mentioned the Milkshake Man there. Unfortunately, that's one of the entries that didn't qualify for the final after last night. But one act that we've always known would be in the final is our own Remember Monday. How do you think they're going to do?
It's always a fool's game to try and predict how you're going to do, especially, and I will say, they're not one of the favourites. And if they're not
Yeah.
in that group of favourites, you could come anywhere. What we do know is they have brilliant vocals, which they've already kind of proved on stage. They really shine and they look like they're having the time of their lives on there. They're going to be a burst of colour on stage. And I think they're going to give it a really good go. Where are they going to come? I don't know. They could come anywhere. But I think what's really important is they're going to do us proud, and that's the main thing.
Absolutely. Because we haven't had, other than 2022, we haven't had much luck in recent years. Is there optimism this time, maybe more than previous years, or would you say it's maybe about the same?
I think I would be lying if I was saying that there was a huge optimism for change. I think we were talking about how the contest has changed, and it's changing rapidly. And I think one thing for the BBC, who picked the UK entry, really need to do is kind of look at where the contest is right now. Because if you look at some of the songs that are favourites and the package that they are delivering on stage, it's not just the singing, it's the song, the story of the song, the way that they translate that into a creative performance. Some countries are leagues ahead of others, and I think we could do a bit more kind of learning and looking at that to try and work out what we can do. We can get there. And as we saw with Sam Ryder, we did have that package. We had the personality, we had a great song, we had a great voice, and an incredible stage performance. We can do it. And I think fans across Europe, because they love British music and they want us to do well, they know we can do it and they're waiting for us to do it. So it's not that they don't like us. They know we can deliver and they just want us to do that. And I'm sure we will again.
Yeah. Now, the favourite song, I believe, the most likely one to win, is Kai from Sweden with their song, which is quite catchy, Bada Bada Bastu. Do you think that's the one that's going to get the medal?
I will say this is the most unpredictable Eurovision for a good few years. I think going back at least to 2022 and maybe even 2021, we've pretty much known for sure who was likely to win.
Yeah.
I would say there's a good chance that Kai win, but also we've had a few surprises in the semi-finals of who's not qualified. There are maybe, I would say, 3 or 4 songs that could win it. And I'm not sitting here saying to anybody, you should put all your money on Sweden because we could get a shock. However, it's different from Sweden because it's not the usual kind of slick pop song. They're kind of comedians, but they can really sing. The performance is incredible and it's fun and it's big and shiny. And the guys, Kai, are really, really fun and likable. We've met them a few times. We've interviewed them. They're just really nice guys. They're Finnish. So you've got Finnish representing Sweden and singing a sort of Swedish-Finnish dialect versus another of the favourites, I think, is Finland. So we could end up with Finland versus Finland in the final rundown.
Did that not happen last year as well? Like Sweden's entry was Finnish or Norwegian or something?
Sweden's entry was Norwegian last year as well. So it's a couple of years in a row now that they've not sent a Swede, which is interesting. Also, first time ever since we've had semi-finals that all of the Nordic countries have qualified properly in their own right from a semi-final, not been a host or not given a wild card. So it's very exciting actually that all of the Nordic countries are being represented tonight. And that's for Denmark. They've not been in the final for 5 years, I think. Wow. So they're very pleased to be back.
Who are some of the other acts that we should be keeping an eye on tomorrow night?
Oh, there's a lot of acts that will stand out tomorrow night. I'm going to start with Estonia and Espresso Macchiato. Tommy Cash is quite a big artist. He's been doing stuff with Charlie XCX. His tours around America, is quite a global star, doing a very different, slightly fun, almost kind of comic act called Espresso Macchiato. Very much about coffee and that attitude to it. Malta is another song that is a lot of fun. The song is now called Serving. It was originally called, and I'll be very careful, the Maltese word for singing, which is cant, K-A-N-T. Ooh. There were some views that those lyrics weren't quite acceptable to say that you were serving cant or serving singing. So now she is simply serving, and then there is a sigh after the word serving. It's a huge, fun, camp number. She's got a great voice. She's bouncing on exercise balls at the end of it. You'll definitely want to see that one. But Finland, who I've also talked about, a huge number with a giant climax at the end for a song that's called Ich komme, which means I'm coming. That's quite a moment.
Yeah. Now, the host country, Switzerland, they're relatively high up the betting odds, but they're not right at the top. That's actually quite a good song as well, isn't it? I mean, there was a little tech problem in the semi-final performance, but how do you think she's going to do?
It's quite technically complicated because it's all done on one camera with lots of very fast movements, and it's obviously with all the technology to make sure that that gets broadcast. If that works, it will look stunning. I'm not sure it's a winner, and countries very rarely like to win twice in a row because it's very expensive to put this on. But I'd certainly think that the hosts are going to come away with a very good result, and they'll be very happy with that.
So if you were a betting man, where would you place your bet? Or would you have to do multiple because it's so unpredictable?
I'm not sure how much value you'll still find in any of my suggestions, but I'm going to say that there are 4 to look out for. There is Austria, Sweden, Finland and France. Sorry, 5, and Netherlands. So Austria, Sweden, Finland, France and Netherlands. I could see a world where any of them win. That wouldn't be a surprise to me. Sweden probably rightly the favourites, and they've got a very nice spot of a running order tonight. However, don't underestimate Finland, who got a huge reaction last night, and don't underestimate the Netherlands, which is a very simple song and very simple staging, but beautifully performed, a very clear message, and a very cute moment at the end of it as well that I think will appeal to multi-generations. So there's a lot to look out for.
So how are you planning on watching the final tomorrow night? Are you going to be in the arena?
I am going to be in the press centre tomorrow night watching it, which is always a really fun place to watch it. All the journalists from around Europe and around the world watching it and making notes, and I'll be on Blue Sky posting along at the same time. But I have a ticket to see the dress rehearsal show tonight, the jury final that the juries vote on. So I will see the show in the arena tonight, and then I'll watch it on the screen tomorrow, and then be reporting on it immediately after. And I imagine it'll be a couple of very late nights. So I'll be looking forward to sleeping on the train on Sunday.
Brilliant. Well, many thanks for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend over there.
Lovely, no problem at all.